Good morning, everybody. How is everyone this morning? What we're going to do this morning is Tim and I are going to talk a little bit about money and how you kind of finance Street Survival School. We've got our names up here on the side. In fact, maybe I'll stand on the other side over here. I'm Raleigh Breen. I'm with the Sports Car Club of America. I've been on the foundation for many years, and I've been fortunate enough. I live in Indiana right now, and I have been doing street survival since the very beginning, so driving up to South Bend to help out, and it's been just a great experience. And Tim is the coordinator with SCCA and with BMW, and we're going to be asked to kind of switch back and forth the mic here so everybody can hear it because of the recording, so I'll let Tim introduce himself here.
Thanks, Raleigh. I've been here doing street survival since about 2004, the second year, so I'm not as old as Raleigh. But we do it around the country. We help out. We do other places. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and we enjoy doing street survival, and that's why we're here.
We'll go ahead and get started here, and what we want to do really is talk about the financing of an event. And it's really important because a club, when you look at it, when you look at the SCCA corporate, they get their money through, memberships, through doing events. Well, a local chapter of the BMW chapter or a local SCCA region, the only way that they get money is from doing events. And so when you want to say, we want to do street survival because it's the right thing to do, but I know in the back of your mind saying, we can't afford to lose money at this. Realistically, we have to have something positive happening for us. So what we want to talk about is putting together a budget. The biggest thing about doing a street survival, and I know Scott talked about JR and the whole group doing it in 24 hours or 48 hours, the whole plan, though, is you need to plan. You need to be good planners. And part of that is creating a budget. Know what your site costs are going to be. Know what your food costs are going to be. You're going to do some sort of a breakfast in the morning for the students and all of your coaches. You're going to do something at noontime for food also. And then, of course, equipment. And equipment can be everything from, okay, do we need extra cones here? Do we need something to use as barricades? Do we need computers? Are we going to have to have a tent because we aren't going to be able to get inside a fixed building of some type? The point, equipment can be a lot of different things. And then, of course, giveaways. You'd always like to have something that you can give away to either your coaches, the students, all of the people that are really going to be involved in your school. And you say, how do we do that? Well, you got to figure out where the income is. There's going to be income from the national groups, and as far as from through the tire rack and different ones, and then, of course, through local sponsors. And that's really how it all works out. And we're not going to talk about specifics because each of the clubs, the PCA, the BMW club, and then also SCCA, they handle some of the finances a little bit differently, but it's important for you to know the nuances and how things are handled so that you can have that positive experience financially. With your budget, what we're going to call it's the gap. The gap between your expenses and your income is what we're going to kind of talk about. And it's really important to come up with sponsors and donations. And those are the things that can really help you. With the plan right now, the Tire Rack is our national sponsor, and it's the Tire Rack Street Survival Program. And of course, Michelin gives all of us money, and they've really, in their own mind, they've said that money goes towards paying for sites. Okay? Now, each of you are going to probably put that money in whatever column that you need to, but in theory, what we've really done is we have these two great national sponsors that are going to help us out with Michelin, with the asphalt, and with our parking lots, and the Tire Rack helping us as a corporate sponsor.
Just one thing about Michelin, we always call it the asphalt sponsor because they give us money so that we can rent a site. There are places out there that are renting sites that are ridiculously expensive, only because that's the nature of the area. Southern California, you're not getting cheap sites. It just costs money. Michelin's not going to cover all of that. But there's also places out there that are getting sites donated. They're free. That you're still getting the money from Michelin. You use it for the other stuff. You use it for food. Use it for T-shirts for your coaches, T-shirts for your students. So it may say Michelin's our asphalt sponsor, but they're just giving us money to make sure we get things done. Some of the other sponsors you may look for, local hospitals, especially if you have a children's hospital in your area. They're really friendly about people saving children's lives, so they're good. Insurance agents, you know, maybe they've got a banner. Tell them, if you'd buy lunch for us, we'll put your banner up. And people will say, hey, this is really cool because Larry's insurance company is providing lunch, and they're good people. Restaurants, they can donate lunch. They can give us lunch at a cheap price. Car dealerships, hey, we all drive cars, and that's what all the teens bring there. So if somebody, you know, wants to talk about their car dealership, that's fine. Get your sponsors' logos. We'll show you something later on. If we can put it on a brochure, we can put it on a T-shirt maybe that we give away. So the logos are important.
Just to give you some examples, you know, as far as for hospitals, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, when they would do a school, they had one of the children's hospitals, they would give the club $500 cash, but they then also gave hoodies from the hospital, and it had the hospital on it, and then they put the Street Survival logo on it, and every one of the students would get a hoodie that day. So in the sense they were getting something for the students, they were also getting some money. Great example with insurance agents. I know there are several programs where State Farm locally has helped regions all over the country and clubs all over the country with money and helping them out. In Indiana, we have Indiana Farmers Insurance, and it's an insurance company that only insures people in Indiana. We were able to go to them, and they gave us quite a bit of money, and they said, we will give every school in the state, if you do 2 or if you do 10, we will give every school in the state $350. And they said, we'd like that to go towards food. In exchange, there is a banner that goes up at every Indiana school that has Indiana Farmers Insurance on it on one side and the big Street Survival logo on the other side. It's an opportunity. So there's different things that you can do. Restaurants, we've had many. Dunkin' Donuts, donate food. Okay, it's not a cost. So at that point, you come out smelling like a rose. You can have somebody that donates pizzas. The point is, there's lots of things that have happened with car dealerships. If I'm not mistaken, I think we've been able to work with some of the Hendrick car dealerships. I know in Kansas they were able to work with some of the Hendrick car dealerships, and at that point they were able to get some money. And once again, they were able to put up some banners that's saying that the Hendrick car dealership sponsored the Street Survival program. So there's a lot of neat things that you can do. And the neat thing is, too, is you've got the resources of Tim and Bill and Scott and all of the others, organizers here, to help you and say, this worked in Philadelphia, and let's see if we, tweak it a little bit, it can work in Kansas City. Or if we found something in Kansas City, we tweak it a little bit, it'll work in San Diego. And one of the things, and I said it many times in another presentation I did, plagiarism is alive and well. We want to share ideas, and we'll give people credit, but we want to use things. Yes, there's a question. Yes, sir. Yeah, Bill.
Sponsors can also drive students to you.
Oh, absolutely. Great example is the Hendrick car dealerships. They put something in each of their dealerships saying, hey, come and get involved with the Street Survival. Great opportunity, Bill. Jane.
We have a dealership in Columbus that sends out emails to all of their clients. Find that person in the dealership and send it out.
If everybody could hear, Jane said that she worked with a dealership in Columbus, Ohio, and there they sent out emails to all of their customers shouting and hollering about the Street Survival. And I know with Indiana Farmers Insurance in Indiana, the same thing. They let their agents all over the state know that something's going on, that they're involved, and they've really, really helped. So those things can just help us in so many ways. When you choose a business to approach, you've got to find out the right person to talk to. And that usually is the toughest thing to do. Find out whether it's a general manager, whether it's a private insurance agent. The point is, find the right person. And when you're doing that, it gets back to preparation is the key. You've got to really go in and be very professional. first of all, we want to make sure that you know the program inside and out. And really be comfortable with the program and talking about the program. And talk about how we're going to save lives. We're going to keep kids out of ditches. We're going to make sure that they do. And the idea, have a plan. It really helps. Have a plan, and as we always say, be very professional. You know, one thing that you can do is you want to be as professional as possible. And it's one of those things, you know, we kind of talk about it here, dress for the meeting. My feeling is you always will dress up. So in my case, and if you looked up the word conservative in the dictionary, probably my name's right behind it. But in the sense, I'm going to show up in a sport coat and a tie. I'm going to show that person that I'm very professional. And, you know, the thing is that we can do with that, you know, is making sure that you really do a great job of making the presentation. You know, have business cards. I always feel it's important to throw out a business card and show that you are gainfully employed and that you are a professional of some type. Now, if you don't have a business card with your occupation, or if you're retired or whatever, you know what? What a great example. You can have get a street survival business card, or get one that says BMW, the chapter that you're with, or get involved with, you know, have an SCCA one. The point is, you want something that you can leave behind. Yes, sir.
If we get street survival business cards printed up, I assume there's no problem with trademark and the logo or anything like that?
No problem.
There isn't any problem at all.
And we can help you with logos and formats and all that kind of stuff to get that done. But that's something you can do at home on an inkjet printer, really easy as well. So.
When you talk about it too, you know, we always talk about have a plan, walk in. You know, one of the things that you always put in your back pocket is, you know, first of all, the street survival program, you know, really helps save kids. But if you know that the person that you're talking to has a teenager, you know what? You know, offer them potentially a free seat. Offer them something, so the idea that you can help, it's another thing that you kind of have in your back pocket that you can use to help that person. You know, have a printed agenda, a program. You want to have something that you can leave behind. And I personally, when I was in business, and I'm retired now, but when I was in business, and I still to this day, I carry thank you notes in my briefcase. I always gave a handwritten thank you after I had a meeting with somebody, because that will leave more of an impression than sending an email on Monday or making a phone call. It showed that you really cared, and you sat there and said, John, I really enjoyed the time we spent together. I know that there are some things that we can do to get together with Street Survival. Thank you for your time. And if you saw that they were a big Purdue fan or a big LSU fan last week, I'd say, hey, by the way, congratulations on LSU's victory. You know, you would do something to make it personal, and you sent it. But it was that professional part, and that's really the key. And of course, smile and be friendly.
This is an old parent companion. We have the new brochures, which you all know all about now, I'm sure. But this just happened to have this image. When I talked about logos before, these were stick-on labels that were put onto that parent companion. Just talking about our sponsors. Duke Energy, Duke Realty, Jake Sweeney was a dealership that provided lunch for us that day, I think. Just stuck those little labels on there. You get, stick-on labels, print them on your own home computer, and just add that stuff. And then show it back to your sponsors. Say, this is what we passed out. This is what we showed, and that's why we really appreciate you being with us. This is the other important thing. When you go in to talk to sponsors, take our trifolds. You can get them. Call the national office. Call Bill. He's really good at that. And we'll get trifolds to you without any problem if you don't have them. We've got plenty to offer. Always carry that. I've got a bunch in my car, in a couple different cars. So if I meet someone and I know that they have some interest, I can reach in the glove compartment, pull out a trifold and say, this is our program. This is what we do. And whenever you talk to your sponsors, leave them a couple trifolds.
Question. Sure. How do you know if you have the latest version?
Well, I'd look at what the cost is inside there. But it doesn't really matter a lot. If you have some old ones and that's what you just happen to have with you in your car, you can pass it out to them. The only thing that really is different other than just, images and things like that is the cost that might be inside there. But if you need more, we've got plenty. If you look in there and you see all your brochures say, $25, so they're from 1903, throw them away, call us up and we'll get you some more trifolds.
Is that the new one on the image?
Yes.
Did everybody hear that? This is the latest and greatest for the street survival.
Yeah, these are the freebies that we've talked about. Donut shops, great for breakfast. They may not give you donuts, but they're sure going to give you a deal. Maybe you can get donuts there, maybe you can get coffee and all that. So talk to them, talk to the manager and the local one and tell them that you're going to say where this came from. And again, it's going to be, as Raleigh said, be professional. Look the part, give them some brochures, tell them what's going on. Everybody that works somewhere either has children that are teenagers or knows people that have children that are teenagers. We all do. Subway, pizza, all those, these are all great places to go to keep your costs down. This is something you just factor in. The important thing is we are a 501c3. That's an organization that is a charitable organization. They donate to us, we can give them a charitable letter, and they can take that off of their taxes. So that's important. If you explain to those people, and some people, they're not so concerned that they take the charitable deduction, they're just concerned that they're dealing with a charity as opposed to some for-profit organization.
Tim, don't mean to interrupt, but Papa John's in particular has pricing for 501c3s. So if they're not going to donate it for free, they'll give you a break on the price. I can't remember if it's the franchisees or the company stores or whatever, but just, go in asking for free, of course, and then they say, well, I can't do that. Then remind them that you're a 501c3 and see if they have a nonprofit price.
Great example with the 501c2 is, and I go back to the Indiana, I can't even talk today, the Indiana example. Instead of going every time we have a school in Indiana, whether it's a BMW school, an SCCA school, a PCA, or whatever, instead of having to have Indiana farmers write a check every time there's a school, what they do is we estimate how many schools are going to be in the state. They write a check up front. They send it to the SCCA Foundation. They now write it off because they've written one check. In turn, then, every time there's a school, Scott Dobler activates, tells the SCCA Foundation, you need to send $350 back to the school in Fort Wayne, South Bend, Indianapolis, whatever it might be, and we've got a process to do that. And those are the kinds of things, if you get somebody, let's say you're in an area and somebody is doing multiple schools and you get someone to give you some money, there are ways that we can help you and help them. So in the sense, here again, if it's a BMW situation, I know that same situation could happen. The money goes to the BMW Foundation, once again, 501c3, and then in turn, they'll then get the money back to you. There are ways of making this work so that everybody wins. How many times have you gone down the freeway, too, and seen on the back of a big 18-wheeler, it says, no zone? Have you ever seen that? Well, the American Truckers Association talks about what they call the no zone. And the no zone is the area around a truck where you can't see. They will donate an 18-wheeler to you for free if you contact them. And the trucks that say no zone, and I was just in Phoenix a couple of days ago. A friend of mine owns a large trucking company in Phoenix, and all of his trucks say no zone on it. And he has gone out and he has donated, time and effort with his trucks and drivers and different things. But that is something that they will supply. So if you don't have somebody readily available, contact the American Truckers Association. Once again, it's one of those ways that you can get something that's going to help your filling the gap between expenses and the budget. Okay, here are just some examples of the sponsors. When we talk about it, food, we always talk about, you need to have something in the morning. And, it's a way of getting the kids waking up because as we've all known, on a Saturday morning, the last place they want to be at 7 or 7:30 in the morning is sitting at some site. They'd much rather be at home. So, and the point is, you need to have something in the morning to get them going. Lunch, soda, water, those are all things that you need to really worry about, and that's an opportunity for your sponsors to really help you out with. Advertising, it was already mentioned with the idea of car dealerships, insurance agents, sending out email blasts, different things to make sure that people know about your school coming up. And of course, discounts. We talked about the potential of being able to give away a free seat. If that you think that's the incentive to get you over the top with somebody, that's an opportunity for it. You can work with that. Carla.
Could you explain a little bit more about how that works for the people that maybe have never hosted? Does that come out of their pocket, or do we subsidize that?
Tell you what, I'll let Tim talk about that because he's a little more familiar with that than I am.
What I was just going to say is I'm not as familiar with the SCCA model with that. But every school is allowed to give away 2 free seats. If there's something that comes up and you need more, we can do that. But these are just seats that are covered. Bill, you had more to say.
Since you get back the direct student fee money, if you're giving away 2 seats, the BMW Club Foundation will make those whole, so you will get the money if you gave the seat away. It's not a number there that'll just disappear and you don't get that income. So we will make you whole on that.
They still need to be registered on the site?
Yes.
Yeah, we still want them registered as a student, so we get all the information on them and that kind of stuff. But we'll give them a discount code. Every school can get, a discount code. If you get in touch with Scott, if you get in touch with me, when we set up the school, we can set up the discount code.
Just on that point, I know you're saying we could use them to incentivize sponsors, but are they technically designed for people that maybe can't afford the school, or
Definitely. If you've got someone that you think is economically challenged, but they would like to do the school, you can give them a seat. And this isn't definitely designed just for sponsors. It's for someone that needs the school, and this is a good way to get it. If you missed his question, it was, are these seats designed for sponsors or give it to anyone else? But that's what it is.
So the students that attend the school, are they permitted, or do the insurance companies recognize that so that they can get a discount on their insurance for attending the school? I'm just looking at that from a promotional standpoint.
Right. She was asking about discount on insurance for the teen. That depends a lot on their insurance company. Most of the insurance companies we've talked to are really good about it. They will give discounts. One thing you can tell them, ask the parent. They get the certificate, take the certificate to your insurance agent. And if the insurance agent says, oh, I don't know, I've never heard of this, ask them if they give a discount for somebody with a B average. If somebody has a B average in school, are they a better driver than someone who's taken one of our classes, for a day? And the insurance agents kind of get the point. They understand. But the parent has to take the certificate and talk to each individual agent. Most of the companies are good.
It's not an automatic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
State Farm will give a discount. If the agent doesn't understand it, all they have to do is get a hold of the headquarters in Arizona, and they'll get the coding and so forth to do it.
Right. Everybody hear that? The other thing is, if the agent really doesn't understand it, have him call Bill. He loves to talk to insurance agents at length.
Is there another question? All it's going to give us is a steer clear, which is if you watch their online video. And I keep saying, this is more than just watching a video. And they say, that's nice, but this is all national corporate will let us do. And Bill, I guess, is there any company that is making a differentiation between their online watch an hour flick versus what our program does?
No. This is a big area that we've always tried to go after an insurance company, get some sponsorship, get some recognition. I've been doing this since the beginning. We go at them all the time, and it falls on deaf ears. It really boggles the mind on why. But as Tim said, it really relies on your local agent more than anything else. They will at least give you the B average discount kind of a thing. I've heard stories of agents going farther than that and fighting and getting higher discounts, but it's not an automatic, unfortunately, at this point.
Is Liberty Mutual still working with?
Not Liberty Mutual was involved in the very beginning of the program. They are not anymore. State Farm was involved regionally, kind of in the mid-Atlantic area. They've dropped out now. We're making runs at all of them again, and stay tuned. We'll see what happens.
Would it help if we all as individuals subscribe, say, hey, I've been a subscriber for 20-something years?
Absolutely. Yeah, band together, get pitchforks and signs and do whatever it takes. Absolutely.
We talked about logos and sponsors, and the bottom line on the last slide was wearables. This is something that was made up, took the little logo and added Street Survival Survivor on there. And on the back, we put the sponsors that had helped us that year. We gave these out to the students. These are pretty cool. The best advertising we get for the program is word of mouth. And teens love to wear t-shirts. If the sponsor sees they've got their logo on the back of a teen, that's a cool thing. The teens thought that's kind of neat on the front. I was a survivor. So you can get a couple people together. Each one of the sponsors maybe kicks in a couple $100 and you can buy t-shirts for all of your students for a couple years. It seemed to work out anyway. So it's one way you can just show your sponsors that you care. All the things we've talked about, the sponsors really make the difference. That's what turns a school that's not making any money into a school that covers itself and maybe brings a little money back to the SCCA region, the BMW chapter, PCA region, whoever. If you don't lose money is what we want to hope. We're not all in this, just to be the nice people in the world, but it turns out we really are. And that's why you're all here, and that's really great. But if you can keep your region, keep your chapter from losing money, that's a good thing. So sponsors are the people that help us make that and bridge the gap that we talked about in the front. They help us get students by maybe displaying our brochures, displaying our trifolds. They just make the whole school go together.
When you work at this, and we say closing the gap type of thing, it's really important to have a great plan. And many of you, in your jobs and with your club, you sit there and say, man, I don't want to go to such and such a pizza place or whatever. The point is, it can really help make a difference. And I think the thing is that you want to talk about the safety issues of really, really helping the kids. And that is, when you really look at it, that's what it's all about. We're really, really helping save lives. Yes, in the back.
One thing to push, and it's a big selling point, and it was part of my presentation with the SCCA yesterday, this is a volunteer, organized, and driven school program. I walked into people and they're like, I already sponsored a driving program. No, you don't understand. We're volunteering our time. And at that point in time, people start writing checks because you're volunteering. And that's what you need to push. This is a volunteer, organized, and run program.
It really is. Yes, over here.
One of the things, Jim and I have done this for several years, and one of the things that we found that we're not great at is finding sponsors. We have a hard time. We're not the people who can go knock on that door.
Sure.
But what we've done that's been successful for us is we have partnered with the Saratoga Auto Museum, we're in upstate New York, in the Albany area, and they have great resources and great connections and can get sponsors. So they've gone on our behalf. We actually have our school there, so, but they've gotten people to donate lunches for us. So we didn't have to be the everyone to go make that ask.
Sure.
So partnering with somebody in that field, in cars, in whatever, their mission is to give back to the community as well, to educate. So partnering with them has been really helpful.
Fantastic. Could everyone hear that she was talking about partnering with people? And it is tough. It is tough to go and ask for some help type of thing. But it's something, talk about the idea that we really are giving something back. At this point, we really are giving something back, and that we want to really help our communities.
One thing along with that is maybe find somebody in your region, in your chapter, that's just the outgoing person. And maybe they don't do anything else with street survival because that's just not what they're into. But they might be your sponsor finder. So, talk with them.
Something is, we've already mentioned it, Bill mentioned the idea that you can get potentially discounts at Papa John's. Sam's Club, Costco, and some of the dollar stores also, for charities, for different groups, will have some discounts. So the point is, here again, you're not paying the full price for something that, for instance, I know, when we've done schools, we've gone to Sam's Club in the Indianapolis area. We go to Sam's Club and get soda. And it's a case where soda and water, and all of a sudden, boom, we're going to get a better price than just the normal price. So don't be afraid at that point to ask some of those organizations. Yes?
Some places in our area, we have to have a copy of the certification.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get that from Tim.
Yep.
Through Tim and Bill and Scott, you can get that information. What the lady was asking is, if we need something to really prove that this is a charitable organization, it's a 501c or C3, it's a case where we can get you that information. And here again, this is where Tim and Bill and Scott, the resources that all of you have are just really, really strong. And we can help you. And of course, we've got John and the tire rack behind us. The point is, we've got help when you need it. And you're not going to be out there on the island all by yourself. You're not the Lone Ranger. You've really, really got this whole group helping you. Procedures, some of them are specific to each of the organizations. Check with your organization, because we all make sure that we get you reimbursed on things, but as far as just the way each of the foundations work, they work a little bit differently. So make sure that you, as an SCCA region, that you're talking to Scott and getting all of the information. If you're a BMW chapter, make sure you're talking to Bill and Tim. And if you're with the PCA, here again, you're talking with Bill and Tim. They will be able to help you out, because like I said, because of the organizations, we've just got some different nuances there. But we're right up front and tell you, hey, this is how it works for you. Yeah, Jim?
Just have a question. I don't mean to sound ungrateful or.
No.
I understand how the process works, Bill. It seems to take a while to get the reimbursement. We had an event beginning of October, and our check was dated December 23rd. And we certainly appreciate getting the money and getting all the payment money, but just wondering the process, why it kind of takes so long, because we've got some people that we make donations to based on the money we get back, and it just, it takes a while to get the reimbursement.
Sure. I'll be honest with you, what we really would want to do is, I guess, talk to Bill or Scott to kind of talk about that, because I'm not sure on all the reimbursements how fast it happens.
It is a slow process. I apologize for that. I have nothing to do with writing the checks other than I yell at the guy that's doing it to get him to do it faster. We're trying to make improvements on that. The guy that's in charge, our director of operations, Neil Bauer, in the foundation office in Greer, is huge on automation. He loves being able to push one button and 40 things happen. That's being added to his list of things to help speed up, because you guys, I understand, and don't misunderstand me here, the SCCA is a little bit different than the BMW club stuff in the way that the money flows. Our guys aren't getting paid any faster, but it's more critical for you guys the way that works. So we're having a foundation board meeting next weekend. That's one of the things on my list to beat him around the head and shoulders about.
And we understand that that's important, because some clubs have got a lot of money in reserve, but an awful lot of clubs don't, and that's the nature of the beast. So we want to make sure that we get you your money as fast as possible. Tell you what, any questions? I know we've been trying to answer questions all along, but any questions that we haven't answered? Yes, sir.
So in terms of approaching
interested in anybody here who's had success with that or can share as the first steps. I mean, a donut shop, you can walk in and say, hey, is the owner here today? You're dressed nicely. You start with a phone contact with the secretary of the person whose name's on the dealership, or I just think that first step would be pretty important.
Typically, what I would recommend, because you know, as far as like the Penske organization, you know, they've got thousands of dealerships. I would always go to ask for the general manager at a dealership. If you're going to a car dealership, I would ask for a general manager. Now, we do have some contacts with Hendricks, and Hendricks has, I think, 22, 23 different dealerships around the country. But I would do that. And the thing is, too, is if you say, I'm going into somebody that we know in our area has a bunch of dealerships, you know, type of thing, even before you went in, what I might do is at that point, quick give a phone call to either Bill or Tim or Scott, and at that point say, hey, here's what I want to do. You got any ideas or any help? And I think those guys can help you. There's times, I know on site development and trying to find sites, we've got some exact programs to help that. So this is where the guys can be just a great resource. Arnie?
I think this applies particularly to the BMW Club. Go to the dealer where you bought your last car or car. If you are like a lot of BMW owners, you've got more than one, you've had more than one, and you might have actually established a relationship with a particular dealer. Go to them first. Okay? Maybe the ones you know by first.
There's a fellow in the back first here. Yes, sir.
I think it's really important to remember that larger businesses like that, businesses that have multi-million-dollar revenues, they have money set aside for sponsorships. They do it. It's part of it. I mean, I work for a large organization. We get hit up for them all the time. It's not a difficult conversation. Car dealership, general manager gets asked all the time. They are thrilled. They can't throw enough money at something that has to do with driving. It's so simple for them to put their name on that.
Here again, the biggest thing, they're giving something back to the community, and that is so important. I know in my case, I've helped a couple of groups where we've given presentations to like Kiwanis groups and some of those types of things, and it's a case where here again, you're dealing with people that are out there that are business people. You know, it's just going to open up a lot of doors. We had a fellow up here. Yes.
Yeah, just a comment on that. As far as the automotive dealerships go, if they're singly owned, I think I've been involved. I've been a dealer myself for years. So
sure.
If you go into the owner a lot of times want to step to the side. So the general manager you mentioned, everybody have mentioned, is a good one to go to. But now a lot of these dealerships are owned by an auto group. So they have a director of the group.
Sure.
And that's a good guy to hit too, because then you can get their whole automotive group involved.
As a fellow, did everyone hear that? What he's saying is when you've got multiple groups, many times you'll walk in and talk to a general manager, and you may then need to go to the next step up to, there may be a person that is over, you know, multiple dealerships. So it may take a couple of presentations. Things don't happen usually in one trip. I will tell you that. Things don't normally happen in one trip. We're working on a site with the SCCA. We're working on a site in Colorado right now for one of the regions. We just got the go-ahead, but we have been working 15 months on that program. It's been over a year, almost a year and a half. So the thing is, great things happen, but they don't necessarily happen real fast. Carla.
So selling is my day job. That's what pays the bills for everything else. What I would highly recommend is look at your own network too. If you're on LinkedIn, then look at your LinkedIn profile and your connections. You may know somebody who knows somebody. I'm telling my salespeople that all the time. I may be able to call Raleigh and say, hey Raleigh, I see you're connected with so-and-so here and I've been trying to get to them. How well do you know them? Can you give me an introduction? And sometimes Raleigh's like, oh, I know that guy pretty well. You know, we see each other at church on Sunday or something like that. And that can give you a really good intro in to, and not being such a cold call, if you will. It's a warmed up call.
Okay. Fair enough. What we're going to do is we are right now kind of running up against the clock. So what we're going to do is we're around all day today. All of us, please, you know, tell us how we can help you, because the resources that are available to all of the clubs are just so invaluable. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to Bill here.
not to try to go, Raleigh, shut up. I got something. Another avenue to go into bigger companies to kind of get back to your first question, a community relations department, community involvement department. A lot of times that's an in to say, hey, I've got this program. It's a national program that I'm interested in bringing to the area. Can you really help me with that? So that can also be an in if they have typically hospitals will have some kind of community relations department person kind of a thing. I also wanted to mention one thing. I just got a text from somebody. I'm not going to mention names. He just happens to own Motorsport Ridge and sitting in the back of the room. But we were talking about the insurance thing, and he said, hey, dummy, why don't you write a script for the parents to take back to their insurance agent so they know what to say and how to say it? One, of course, it's an awesome idea. But two, if you're thinking of things like that, send them to me, send them to Tim. We're going to kind of have a garage of ideas that we're going to work on after this. So, let's work the synergy in the room here. Thanks.
I got an easy one for you, and this is successful. We all have our favorite car repair place, our favorite place where we get our alignment done, our favorite place where we get our tires done. I went to a person who owns a repair shop. He bought 50 cases of water for the local street survival program there. He got to promote street survival on his social media and also said, bring your children's car to the shop for a free systems check before street survival. He's going to sign up again for another 50 cases of water. That is a classic and easy way to help with the costs.
Thank you, everybody.